matchup.
Yeah, again, WTF, the situation with him, we were under the impression, we were informed by the team and the admins, in fact, that he unfortunately wasn't going to be able to make it because I guess he was traveling or something like that, but it ended up working out. I don't know how, or just I'm sure he actually ended up traveling, but it just ended up it somehow worked out. So he is here. He is actually in the game right now. He is still tagged up TT Esports, which I find a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
Again, I'm pretty sure at this point it is official that he is a part of ORGE Esports Malaysia, but he's still tagged up TT Esports. But anyways, he's playing for them today, again, against Complexity here, and what really should be a great best of the three. I know that you've said, though, and I know a lot of people out there, of course, I'm sure tuning in, they definitely perhaps expect Complexity to win. But even if you do, I mean, again, we're talking about ORGE Esports Malaysia. It seems like every single match we watch of theirs, no matter the circumstance, they always bring entertainment to the table. And again, I cannot wait to see what they do here today as far as this matchup is concerned. But you know what? It looks like the teams decided that they were ready, so we're going to go ahead and be ready ourselves and look to jump into this one and get things started here on Honcast for our coverage for today. So game one is upon us here between Complexity and ORGE Esports Malaysia. So let's go ahead and jump into the game now, as indeed they are at the blind band stage. So the blind band stage, of course, to kick it off, going into the lockpicking stage here between these two teams. But again, these two teams here, this is the winner's bracket semifinal matchup. Of course, Complexity, they already have their invite to DreamHack Winter 2012. ORGE Esports is one of these other teams that is at the very least looking for the invite. If they happen to lose here, they are still in the event, of course, because it is a double elimination format. But could you imagine ORGE Esports upsetting Complexity here in the winner's bracket semifinals? That would be something, Trev.
It'd be a lot of fun to watch, that's for sure. We'll have to wait and see. Again, I really do think the addition of WTF has really strengthened the roster altogether. We did see them take out, who was it? It was Pikachu 2-0.
Yes.
Where most people, I think, would agree that they thought that Pikachu was going to take that quite handedly, based on the performance that Orange had in the previous tournament, which, quite honestly, wasn't that strong.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have a great game here. I expect Wild Soul to be picked up, if not even banned. But there's already, as we're getting to these locks, lots of junglers involved. Plague Rider seems to be a very, very strong, valued very, very high for Complexity, along with other kind of strong suicide heroes, things like coL, things like Bubbles. These heroes are really, when I was casting with Bryce, it all kind of came together, and that's really what makes them have a very, very standard lineup. Is a very, very strong jungler, because the other things, they can change that around. They can change what hard carry they want to field. They can change what kind of strong ganker they want mid, but the suicide laner, that's really the most important thing, I think, for Complexity.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, with that said, of course, for Complexity, they defeated 15 to get here in their first round matchup, and as you said, ORGE Esports defeated Pikachu 2-0 as well. And what was actually very surprising, I know I wasn't here, unfortunately, to cast that match. You were here, though, of course, with Bryce, a great cast that it still had. And I was shocked to see those results. I mean, not Orange winning necessarily, but 2-0. So, but apparently it was a pretty good series and fairly close for the most part. But still, Orange came out on top 2-0. And of course, as a result, that's why they're here, continuing on in the winners bracket. But enough about that. Of course, we got this game to look at. As you talked about the blind bands, the first thing though, Jerizai and Parasite were taken care of by Complexity, and then Fade and Amphora being taken care of by ORGE Esports Malaysia. So Tundra, Pebbles, I mean, Tundra especially, he is still there on the board. And right as I say that, of course, actually ends up being the final lock from ORGE Esports Malaysia, actually. But look at that lock pool, though. I mean, all across the board, very, very powerful possibilities here for both of these teams, Trove. 5
out of 6 of those heroes can suicide very, very well. But Plague Rider, Tempest, Bubbles, coL, Tundra, they're all very strong, very versatile, specifically suicide heroes. Maybe not Tundra as much, but still can do it. So a lot of power in that pool, lots of junglers. It's going to be really, really fun to watch. I think ORGE Esports and Complexity are kind of in the same boat right now as far as the strategy that they have in mind. The bans have begun. Meraxis is banned by BK. That's a hero that actually I've seen him banned quite frequently. It's a really annoying hero to deal with. It's so damn tanky with such little amounts of farm. I think there's been certain engagements or certain games where Meraxis has nothing but Steam Boots and a Portal Key and just tanks up everything. 4 heroes beating on them, casting all their spells, and is still able to live, and maybe even net a kill out of it. So that's an annoying hero to deal with, and BK bans that out.
Yeah, Meraxis, Pebbles, Mage Bane, and Dark Lady we see right there. That sequence. 2 more bans remaining to go. But, yeah, Meraxis, again, just to kind of touch on that a little bit more, he's really kind of one of those unique heroes right now in this lockpicking mode where he's not significant enough to be blind banned, And he's not good enough, apparently, to be even locked by either one of the teams, but then he's eventually banned always. So we just never get to see him, it seems like, lately on the competitive scene because he always makes it to the banning stage and then eventually gets banned by one of the others. And in this case, of course, Complexity using their first ban, actually, on Moraxis. So, but yeah, definitely a very powerful hero, as you're putting it. Again, I can't be surprised that that's the case, but I guess I am a little bit surprised that maybe as to why we don't see him in that lock pool, though. From either team. But whatever the reason, though, he is banned pretty much most of the time, lately at least, and that continues to be the trend here. Aluna and Draconis is how we're going to finish things off as far as our banning pool goes, but that leaves Silhouette open for Complexity, and I would not be surprised to see Silhouette even as a first pick possibility here. Oh,
yeah, they really do value that Glacius, especially with the other very, very strong supports off the board. And ORGE Esports responds with a Wretched Hag. They really love the Wretched Hag. And WTF he plays a very, very strong Wretched Hag. It's very aggressive, very fun to watch. And he always seems to get a large amount of farm on that hero. But Glacius is a perfect first pick here. Yes, Silhouette is there. The other three hard carries are gone. But also, I think more importantly, having that strong support in the lane is irreplaceable at this moment. You know, you have a Luna band, you got an Nymphora band. There is a Torture as well, but I really think Glacius is with those two heroes banned, is the best one out there.
Yeah.
So they pick up Glacius, then Demented Shaman. I'm curious to see how Orange runs him. I don't recall really remembering running him that often, especially as support. I actually feel like I do remember them running him as a pseudo carry, solo style Demented Shaman. We saw that ran with Limp, actually played that for TDM. And with great success, he was leaning against a Plague Rider Suicide and just demolished. So we've seen that hero have a lot of power, but yeah, I would not be surprised. Again, I was going to say it, Silhouette, not be surprised that the hero was picked up.
Yeah, again, with Mage Bane, Draconis, and Dark Lady all being banned especially, so it makes it through the first kind of cycle there as far as the regular picks go, and then Complexity will gladly pick up Silhouette. And then Keeper of the Forest. Now that is a little bit different for Complexity. You're used to seeing the Tempest, the Ophelia, even something like a War Beast as far as their jungle hero, but not so much the Keeper of the Forest route, but they're going to go Keeper of the Forest here.
I actually think that maybe they thought Orange was going to go for Keeper. I really do. I don't know if I really like Keeper here. I think the thinking is, well, they have a Hag, they have a Demented Shaman. They cannot pick three aggressive heroes to go against us in our short lane. Because if you look at it, Hag can't. I mean, if Hag goes Suicide, that means you don't need Glacius down there. You can just have Silhouette just destroy Hag, and then Keeper of the Forest is going to get complete free farm. So it doesn't matter. And then with Demented Shaman, what they could do is a solo Hag, solo Demented Shaman, and some sort of aggressive tri-lane bottom with whatever hero they decide to pick up here. Maybe FA. I know that the Orange loves to run FA, and they have not picked a carry yet. I guess the Wretched Hag can kind of carry in the very, very late game. But there's a Madman. Very, very fun hero to watch. We never see him picked up, but I actually really like the hero. Some people think he requires a lot of farm. I disagree. I think all you need is a shrunken head to really be effective, but yeah, we'll see. And there's a Tundra snap pick there from Complexity.
Yeah, on that. Okay, well, by the way, so Tundra snap pick. We got Tempest, and if they go Ophelia here even, you would think there's a possibility. Yeah, it's kind of taking that away from Complexity, so they can go to Ophelia Tempest. I know that you highly regard that as a very powerful combination if you can do so. But, I mean, really, you got your Bubbles, you got your Plague Rider. So, really, I think it's safe to say either they're Suicide or they're mid-heroes, what they're kind of going for here. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how ORGE Esports decides to finish off. Of course, Mr. Ghost, the captain for the team, decides to pick here. But that man, I agree with you in the sense that, yeah, he's not necessarily a hero that needs a lot of farm compared to other carry-type heroes. He can get involved and be very useful between that barrel roll, between the stock ability. It's also a great farming tool, but it's also a great harassment tool, and on top of that, some decent damage output throughout those team fights and whatnot. And again, you press that R, you have that passive ability. You don't need the greatest farm. You get that Null Stone, and you can be actually pretty damn powerful. If that's what he chooses to go for, of course, we'll see. But Cthulhu Font is going to be the final pickup here for ORGE Esports, and then it's responded with Bubbles, actually, for Complexity.
I don't like the Cthulhu Font pick at all. I actually liked pretty much everything they were doing, even despite the fact that they're running a support Demented Shaman in this game. It would easily work if they picked something. I mean, it still will work, I guess, but basically they're at a risk right now. They're going to be like, okay, you're hard farmer versus our hard farmer. But the thing is, you have a Bubbles, Tundra, and Keeper to play against in the mid game. And those heroes, their ultimates are devastating. And Cthulhu Font, I don't think he brings enough to the table when you compare him to someone like an Ophelia. I really don't.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see how they... Also, he's very easily countered by all of these heroes. I mean, the root will stop him. Basically, slows and snares destroy Cthulhu. And Glacius has a couple bubbles. Obviously, the Kelp Field will stop that. The coL from, sorry, not Cthulhu, but Tundra, when he decides to level that up, that will really be a nuisance for Cthulhu. Well, it just really comes down to the laning at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how ORGE Esports decides to lane. With that said, that also opens up the eyes, and I definitely agree with you too. You had your bubbles, you had your Plague Rider, seems like two very powerful suicide options there, and then of course you even had Ophelia as I was talking. Then you could set Tempest as a long lane suicide, and we see especially ORGE Esports is really known for doing that. So I thought it was going to be Ophelia actually, but sure enough, they do the Cthulhu as their final pick, and then as we saw again, Bubbles, of course, the final pick for Complexity, and that's not a big surprise there. It's going to be played by B-Kid this time, however, because Moon Meander is actually going to be playing Tundra. Now, speaking of B-Kid, he was able to get the Ward of Sight down right there. He did go boots first and then eventually sold them. I believe he did, actually. He's got the courier delivering his actual items here. But yeah, he was able to make it up there and get the Ward of Sight down, and Orange went there to protect it, but unfortunately we're not able to get there in time, so it's going to be a solid start here for Complexity.
Yeah, definitely. It really depends. That was a great job by B-Kid. He got the ward off, despite all of Orange's members getting there pretty much as fast as they could. So, the boots clearly played a factor in that. Gets the rest of his items delivered to him, and he's ready to go. So he's going to be soloing up here against, it looks like a Wretched Hag solo. And the laning here, we have a Madman solo mid against his Tundra. That could be scary for Madman. Tundra does a lot of damage 1v1, and Moon plays a very, very mean Tundra.
Yeah.
One thing to note, a small nerf was applied to cold Shoulder. I believe it now, it starts at a 24-second cooldown at level 1. Before, I want to say it was
12 seconds.
12, wow.
12 seconds static.
I was going to say 16, but that was...
No.
Okay. Well, it's not it's a good nerf, but it's not like a significant nerf to the hero overall.
Yeah.
Anyway, that should be... He just missed a very easy CS. Anyway, bottom lane, we got this Cthulhu DeSham. We know how deadly this lane can be. And I actually agree with them. They can lane against us because Keeper of the Forest is a passive jungler. So we'll have to see. Tempest is down here as well. He's going to be jungling in the enemy woods. And this is going to play really interesting, actually. I kind of like this from Orange.
What is this blasphemy? We have an aggressive pseudo-tri lane against Complexity. Who would have thought we'd see the day where that would happen? Now, obviously, we definitely joke about that a little bit. Not even joke about it. You bring that up a lot, how you like to see that even more and more from these teams competing against it, but for whatever reason, we seem to not have that. But ORGE Esports, they're going to take it to Complexity and run the pseudo-aggressive trial lane. And as you put it, because Keep the Forest more of a passive style of jungler, this could very likely work out in their favor. So Cthulhu Fawn going to be more of the farm. Now, with that said, I know you were criticizing the Cthulhu Fawn pick a little bit, initially, but does this make more sense now as to why they did it?
Yeah, it does. They can man up, and actually Glacius being very aggressive on this Tempest here, but Glacius I do not think is going to win this battle as Demented Shaman's coming over here to help. There's Haxor, and though on Silhouette wants to get a little bit of damage done to this Tempest. It's kind of cornered in right here, but 3-2, he's going to be just fine. But yeah, mid lane, I think mid lanes could actually get very volatile. Tundra just provides so much damage, and he's almost already got his bottle. Tundra is one of the best heroes for attack animations. It's so quick. He has high base damage. And then the top lane, let's look at that. Wretched Hag, WTF versus B-Kid on Bubbles. That's going to be a fairly even match. Hag has a tiny... it's good for Hag that she's in her short lane, but I really still think that Bubbles has the edge. The spams are just do a little bit more damage. Bubbles' attack damage is a little bit higher, so yeah.
Yeah, speaking of the Wretched Hag, of course, being played by WTF, you're using the alternate skin. This is actually the first time I've seen it, at least on the competitive scene. I've seen it a couple times in pub, but I find the attack animation a little bit funny sometimes where she spins around. It just looks kind of silly. But anyways, fun seeing the new skins like that with the different themes and whatnot. But anyways, that is Wretched Hag, so just to clarify, in case you were maybe a little bit caught up by that, a little bit confused. Look at this bottom lane, though. It is being pushed up all the way to the tower in favor of ORGE Esports Malaysia. And Cthulhu Fawn being played by XXF here, of course, a fantastic player for ORGE Esports Malaysia. His creep farm, it's 6-2. I honestly thought it would be a little bit better by now because of how much has been pushed up, but it seems like he's maybe missed a couple of creep kills that he definitely should have had. And you need to see another one right there, obviously, with the tower attack, and even another one. So, yeah, his creep farm isn't necessarily the greatest, or as good as it seems like it could be to early start. But again, we're still very early on, only 3 minutes in, so not to really look into it too much, but a little bit unfortunate there.
Yeah, you compare that to the Silhouette. She's only 5-3, and
True.
yeah, they do have the deny to work with from the Hookem. Did he level it too? No, he actually went 1-1-1, so he doesn't have the deny ability. One thing I wanted to mention, though, before Tempest was taking harassment from Glacius, he really screwed up. He used his elementals on one of the creeps, and 2 of them died before they were able to split. Very just kind of an unfortunate misplay right there. It does make a huge difference because it cuts down your farming a lot. And then he used his clarity potion, or his mana potion, very, very late, so he wasn't able to regen quickly. And so actually he's moved to the end of his own woods. And I actually think that's a smart move because I really don't feel like he's going to miss out on a lot of farming if he keeps trying to kill this long lane, but it's much easier for him to actually gank.
Sorry, Bloodlust kill maybe coming out right here. Piercing shirts. No, it's not going to be enough damage. Wang will barely survive right there. You see the period coming out in chat. I'm guessing that's just like a, oh my god, I almost died moment kind of text right there. But that was a case of he dived on a Tundra and nearly got the kill into him, but just barely backed off as he started to take some tower damage. But Moonmeander did a great job of reacting himself. He then charged on Madman as soon as he started taking a little bit of tower damage, turns it around as we saw, and nearly got the Bloodlust kill for himself. But in the end, neither side dies. However, I will say, I mean, Moonmeander definitely gained the advantage because now he just gets to sit here, continue to farm, where at the top lane, actually a big dive coming out from PK, gets the kill to Wretched Hag, and there we go with the Bloodlust kill. Unfortunately, I missed it. Not even the kill field used. It was just a matter of the Shell Surf and Song of the Sea combination that actually got the tower kill, the top kill at the tower at the top lane.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I feel like the matchup is somewhat, it's a little less brutal for Hag because she's in her short lane, but still, I give the edge to Bubbles. The spells do more damage. If he decides to level that take cover, which I agree with him, I don't think he should at this point against a solo, one-on-one matchup against Hag. He can also disjoint things like that Haunt. But yeah, Bubbles definitely has the edge, and Beacon doing a really, really good job capitalizing on that, getting that first blood. Very, very big kill.
Yeah, that was huge right there for Complexity, as we saw. It could have easily gone in the case of Madman for ORGE Sports, but again, good play by Moonmeander, nearly turning around himself, but they get the Bloodless kill nonetheless here at the top side in favor of Beacon. You mentioned earlier Mr. Ghost on Tempest. He has adjusted to the top lane since really the beginning of the game. I mean, he was initially down here, of course, in the Legion jungle, but gone to his own jungle now. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, we see a big dive on a Silhouette right there. You see the Demented Shaman Cthulhu Fawn power between the trample and then the healing wave. Gets Silhouette fairly low, but not nearly enough for an actual kill right there. But again, showing the aggression and doing some work. And Haxrin, is somewhat struggling when it comes to creep farm, so that's where you can say ORGE Sports is definitely doing solid down here. You got a 19-6 Cthulhu Fawn compared to what is it, 11-6 actually Silhouette, and he does have the level 2 Hook'em now, which he used right there to actually deny one of the creeps. So yeah, seems like that is the good news for ORGE Sports right now. They are doing a fairly good job of locking down Silhouette. But other than that, I mean, not too many great things going on for ORGE Sports to start here.
Yeah, it really honestly is the slowness of how slow this Tempest is jungling, unfortunately. I mean, she's level 4 right now. Keeper has been level 6 and has had his mana ring or Ring of Sorcery for some time. Just delivered that for Tempest, but he's still level 4. Yeah. This is one of the fastest junglers in the game. Keeper is very, very fast as well. But I really think that just, unfortunately, Mr. Ghost had a very, very slow start. Now Keeper here, it has an Invis, and is coming over with that level 1 ultimate ready. And I think they're going to look to get a kill out of it unless Orange is able to respond. Cthulhu Fawn might be in a little bit of trouble. He just bought his Steam Boots. There's the ultimate, though. There are the spells. There's the Death Lotus. A cape coming out from Demented Shaman. Is it going to be enough? I don't think it's going to be. The Tree Grapple does hit. So there's a kill coming out for Chessie. So good gank there coming out from him.
Yeah, just barely not enough mana to actually trample away right there. Not that it would have even saved him, but it's unfortunate he couldn't even get off that opportunity. But on top of that, again, this is what we talk about when we see Keeper of the Forts. It seems like it's just so rinse and repeat. You hit level 6, you go for a gank in the lane, and then you start to push with it. Although here, not necessarily going to push with it, but they get the successful gank, and what is now looking at a 2-0 hero kill advantage in favor of Complexity. And of course, Silhouette will go back to farming now as a result, especially with Cthulhu Fawn being dead. So yeah, but you talked about it. I mean, Tempest, he's still only level 5 right here. He's cleaning up some Wild Hunters in the meantime, has that Ring of Sorcery finished, but no doubt a slow start for Mr. Ghost playing that Tempest, and that's really unfortunate. It was something we've been a little bit quiet about, but this Madman as well, being played by Wang, he is 34-1 compared to a 45-7 Tundra. So as kind of expected, at least you were stating, Tundra has the advantage here and is winning that matchup. You see right there, Tundra even initiated on a Madman with the Avalanche and Piercing Shards, but no follow-up happened. However, Madman's running into some trouble right here. Glacius puts the freeze out. He gets the stock off. Kind of going around. Demented Shaman will join him, and he is going to survive. That could have been a little bit more deadly, and he has a double damage rune spawn right in front of him. Wow, talk about a little bit of luck of the draw right there. So, Madman, though, he's doing what he can to at least have a decent time, and he is at 260 gold per minute now.
Yeah, he's actually doing quite well in that lane. He's maybe trying to get a kill here on the bottom, maybe just harass a little bit. But, Yeah, I definitely give the edge to Tundra in that matchup, especially with the items that Madman went. Didn't go for a shield, and went for a very fast bottle build. And so he's going to be very susceptible to damage. Now here's the push here in the mid lane, keeping the forces here. Actually 4 members of this Complexity squad are here, including Bubbles, Tundra, this Glacius, and then the Keeper, of course. And Moon Meander gets that last one in the tower. They're actually going to continue to push us. There's not very much anti-push on this side of this Hellborn squad. And actually I missed a kill, but Wang Wang picks up a kill on Haxorn. Good kill. If you're not able to defend, maybe get something jump-started in another lane. So good job by them.
Yeah, and you see at the top lane, they are trying to push themselves. But this secondary tower, it is dropping quickly, and it's going to fall right here. I mean, invulnerability was already used. They're not showing any signs of defending it right now. So it's a 2-tower push coming up for Complexity. Will they at least get the top tower? Yes, they will. So in the end, I mean, it was okay, I guess, for ORGE Sports, especially since they got the Haxorn kill at the bottom lane. I guess you can argue that actually worked out okay for ORGE Sports, but still, they lost 2 middle towers there in that process, and we're only 9.5 minutes in now, Trev.
It was a great trade, actually. I mean, the fact that they could not defend it. And what I've talked about, I see a lot of teams, unfortunately, try to defend towers when they have no place in defending them. And what I suggest to do instead is just give it up. It's not the end of the world. Try to get something happen in another lane. And that's exactly what they did. They got a tower top as well as a kill on the most important hero on that team. So good job by them. And actually, the lead that for Complexity would have had they not had those trades benefit ORGE Sports would be much, much higher. So
yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, you are looking at about a 2,100 gold lead right now, about 1,000 experience lead in favor of Complexity, but especially with what just happened, it seems like it could definitely be much, much higher. So that is the good news, again, for ORGE Sports Malaysia. Tempest is picking it up a little bit here. He is still level 6, so not necessarily when it comes to levels. He is farming 230 gold per minute, though. He has a Strider's finished, actually, so he's choosing to go that route, as well as that Ring of Sorcery, as, of course, we saw earlier. Madman, on the other hand, he's got a Steam Boots bottle. I wonder what item he's going to look to go for first. I mentioned earlier, possibility of something like a Nullstone. What would you like to see here from Madman as his first item pickup?
First item, Shrunken Head.
Yeah.
First item, Shrunken Head. That's like the core item for that hero. Tundra taking a little bit of beam from the jungle there. He's actually very, very close to a portal key. Tons of farm coming out for him.
Jeez,
but yeah, he is the top farmer in the game. 69 CS, holla, and he is going to have that portal key very, very soon. Yes, that's a force to be reckoned with. We've seen Moon Meander play this Tundra very, very aggressively, and it only gets more aggressive once he gets that blink. So
400 gold per minute. Yeah, he is just up there wrecking. Obviously, again, the 2 tower kills helping, but the creep kills, as you mentioned, looking very good. And yeah, being 0-0-0 on top of that, so it's not like it's been coming from assist or hero kills. So yeah, Moon Meander is just a farming machine right now this game. But you said, I mean, he plays a fantastic Tundra. No doubt one of the best out there right now in the competitive scene. We do see initiation at the bottom lane, so in a lot of trouble right here. The overload, or not overload, but the the obliterate was activated, and Madman and Dimension Shaman also being there sets up a fairly easy kill actually onto Haxor and playing that silhouette. So again, that's where definitely some good news is coming in for ORGE Sports Malaysia right here. Yes, the rest of the team for Complexity seems to be doing fairly well, but at least they're locking down Haxor and playing that silhouette, who's just barely managing over 200 gold per minute right now. We do see Keeper the Force currently invisible on top of Cthulhu Font, but Cthulhu Font going to back up a little bit, and that something is definitely up, so, and he should be fine in the end. But again, a kill's a kill, so that's good news for ORGE Sports. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, though, Wretched Act getting locked down. Can't you blink away in time? No, she could not. The Avalanche on top of the Ice Imprisonment. You talk about that from time to time, how Glacius is a very solid hero choice against the Wretched Hag, and we see why right there.
That's a very important kill, not just for getting more gold from Moon Meander. Now he does have enough for that portal key, but getting the levels up on your support. Before that, I don't know right before that, but sometime before that, Glacius was level 3, where the next lowest support on the Hellborn side was Demented Shaman, who actually still is level 6. So it was a level 3 to a level 6. Glacius definitely needed those levels, and so that was a very, very good kill for him specifically.
Yeah, that worked out very well. Of course, for Complexity. Speaking of Demented Shaman being level 6, I wonder what your thought is on this. I'm not a huge fan of it. I wonder if you can have some reason behind it. But, he went the 1 level into Entangle, and I find that a little bit, if you're not going to invest into at least getting it to level 3, I always find that a little bit interesting to do that, because it seems like it's such a minimal effect, especially if you're playing a support Demented Shaman, to even get the 1 level. Not that it's a huge deal, but, I mean, what is your take on that?
I actually don't mind 1 level of it. The reason being, when you have heroes that you know are going to have bottles, it stops bottle from regenerating you completely.
True.
So just even having it doesn't. It's not like it increases duration. Actually, I'll hold that thought as bottom action. There's a lot of action coming out. Demented Shaman gets dangerously low, but applies that cave. He'll be just fine. But yeah, it's a static 7 seconds. It just does a considerable less amount of damage. So it totally nullifies the fact that you can regen from bottle. So I think 1 level is fine, and then putting the rest in there. I don't know about the 4 into the unbreakable, but actually I actually like that. We'll see how it plays out, but I still think definitely he needs to get a level in Stormcloud. Even level 1, it does provide a lot of armor for your team and negative armor, even at level 1 rank. So.
Oh yeah, definitely getting that level in Stormcloud is, especially as you start to get more and more involved in fights, and if pushes are happening, which they definitely have been a little bit, so you could argue that at least investing 1 level into there might have been worth it, but hey, he's level 7 right now, so he maxed out the K first, as you put it, and of course a level 2 healing wave on top of that. But yeah, I do agree with you that the K, I would have liked to see the healing wave max out first, especially seeing that you have a Cthulhu-Fon teammate, and they've been kind of running that combination, and how much damage definitely could be coming out from that. But anyways, at the top lane, top tower goes down, and 4 out of the 5 heroes are up here in favor of complexity. They're going to keep it going, actually, so ORGE Esports once again has a decision to make. You said earlier there's not a whole lot they can do to stop some powerful pushing early on, and it looks like they're going to once again just go for a little bit of a trade here, but they're going to lose a secondary tower for an initial tower kill here at the bottom lane, it very likely looks like. So, God, I know it's difficult to stop, but that just sucks that that's what has to happen. But I guess, you know, if that's what has to happen, then so be it. Madman in the middle lane, he's actually trying to get away. Oh, he gets Rita right there. Great job by Keeper the Force, jumping in with the portal key. Is it going to be enough? The hasted Madman, he had the haster and bottled up, and he is going to be able to escape right there. So now, possible fight coming here at the bottom lane. Oh. The trample just barely missing, but Silhouette in a little bit of trouble. The Haunt applied. Can she actually get away? There is a sonar screen. Dimension Trauma with the healing wave, not enough damage, and it looks like Silhouette will be fine. Now look at the background. The Tempest Ultimate actually pulling them in. This could be huge right here for ORGE Sports Malaysia. The cape comes out. Avalanche going to be used by Moon Meander. Can he turn this around? The trample is going to be used, and down goes Moon Meander. Tempest stays alive. Wretched Act blinking in. Does not have enough mana for any follow-up. But look at Madman with the barrel. Takes out extra and takes out Glacius, and Keeper the Force dropping to that Obliterate, but he is currently invisible, so should be fine, as I do not believe they have any type of revelation. Oh, they put it down, but the portal key at the last second. Look at buybacks, though. Both Beacon and Tundra buy back here. Bubbles and Tundra, we do have a pause coming out from Orange, as they're going to start falling back. Now Tundra jumps in. Oh, my God. I think Mr. Ghost might be in some trouble here, as more than likely the cold shoulder will follow up. You see Wang Wang making the point that somebody crashed. What a fight, though, for ORGE Esports there.
Yeah, definitely. There's a ton of things that happened. So many things happened. That was extremely sloppy by Complexity. Unfortunately, that's really the sloppiest I've seen them play in a long time. First of all, some big miscommunication coming out between Chessie and Moon Meander. Chessie ran in, knew that his ultimate would reveal and at least hold Madman into place. When Moon Meander, they had those mass TPs coming out when Madman was there. And the Blink ulti came out from Keeper of the Forest, so he used it. They needed to do something, and Moon Meander was kind of sitting around in the mid. And there was just no communication, like, hey, I'm going. Moon Meander tried to get the initial avalanche on it, but couldn't get it because of the Fate to Fog, or whatever you want to call it. And then, he was not able to capitalize on that. He's kind of sitting in the mid. Unfortunately, just a lot of miscommunication right there. And then after that, Franzi he just walked into the Tempest ultimate. I know he was trying to get his ice imprisonment down, and he was kind of in an awkward position. I don't think he would have at all been able to get it off, just where he was standing, but he did walk into that. And then Haxer, and man, he just killed himself for no reason.
I saw that,
I know he had good intentions to try to maybe save someone else, but you are the priority on your team.
Well, it was a Glacius, too. That was the thing. So it's like, if anyone on the team you just don't really, is not worth saving to sacrifice your life, it's Glacius. And that was kind of silly by Haxer.
And now the buybacks, hopefully, for Moon's sake, that this is enough to kill Tempest. I can't tell.
He's going to cold shoulder. I don't think it's going to be, because he's cutting through the trees too, so I believe he'll have vision. And that is unfortunate, because both actually Tempest and Demented Shaman were the ones that DC'd, so clearly this wasn't their decision to go this way. And so, but it's not like Complexity. Oh yeah, the Piercing Shards is actually enough right there. In fact, he's going to cold shoulder on Demented Shaman. This fight is still happening, actually. We see Mammon in the background, going to take a kill field right there, but he's applying pressure to Bubbles. In the meantime, Tundra takes the trample stun, but he is still changing. He is out for blood. The Couriel doing a lot of slow right there, gets the kill on Demented Shaman, and Madman will just have to run away, or will he run away? Keeper the Force coming in, no root, of course, going to try to block out the creeps, but the stock ability will allow him to run right through them, and he will survive in the end. So, unfortunate there, you can say, for ORGE Esports. It just so happens the 2 players that died were the ones that happened to DC during the fight. But again, it's not like it's Complexity's fault by any means. They're just taking advantage of, as they should of the situation, and they got a couple of kills there. But still, in the end, I think that was definitely a very, very solid fight, of course, for ORGE Esports.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just very, very good Tempest ult that set it all up, really. And just the fact that they were able to capitalize on that fight when they knew that Keeper of the Forest ultimate was down. That was a big factor. Keeper of the Forest, unfortunately, that like I explained it before, they were not able to capitalize on that kill on Madman. Actually, look at Madman, seal of approval coming out from me to you as you are getting that first item, Shrunken Head. That is so core on this hero, and it's so necessary this game.
Yeah, it definitely can prove to be. So, and again, that's as you and I kind of seem to be both referring to earlier. Just a Shrunken Head alone, with his Gash ability, with that Berserk activated, he will dish out a lot of damage, actually, in these fights, despite only having a Shrunken Head and Steam Boots. That's the great thing about a hero like Madman. So, Tempest in a lot of trouble right here. The Shiver spotted him, and Moon Meander and Chessie just come and collapse on top of him, and nothing that Mr. Ghost could have done right there. But that's the power of the Shiver, of course, coming into play by Tundra. And it's what makes it such a powerful tool, and why we see him even auto-banned or blind-banned by so many teams. In this case, though, having to be locked, by the way, by ORGE Esports with the final lock. So it's kind of funny that it's coming back to bite them in the ass, you could say. But they clean up triple stacked Ancients in the meantime, so that'll just delay Tempest Portal Key a little bit longer, as he still has about 1650 gold saved up, despite that death right there.
Yeah, one of the things I'll say about Moon and his Tundra, and why it's why it's so strong. It's not really so much how well he performs mid and how well he fights in these team engagements. It's honestly how he micros his Hawk. It really he's always active with it. Like right even now, I just always see it moving. It's always providing lots of information for him and his team. Right? I mean, it's constantly moving around, making it invis so you can move it even in different positions. And that really is a good thing for, that's how Tundra should be played. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you ever get the chance to watch Moon stream, he does stream a lot, let's be honest, but if you ever get the chance to watch a stream when he's playing Tundra, it is actually definitely a beautiful thing to watch, because, as you said, the way he controls that Shiver, his screen is constantly moving between the Shiver and between himself, and he's constantly sitting in areas. And again, as you saw right there, I mean, just as a spectator, you can see just what he's doing with them. We see once again right here, he's sending it over to the triple stacked Ancients, actually, or what was triple stacked Ancients. He's going to send it over here, and he may even block with it. Well, actually, it works with a Shiver, right? I know that change happened to the Courier, where you can't block camps now. But I would assume other things like Shiver would work. So, yeah, he isn't going to do that, though. He's actually using his Scout out. But, yeah, that was I didn't even really think about that when that happened. But Madman's going to continue to farm the jungle in the meantime. He does have that Shrunken Head finish, of course. So if you're this Hellborn team, if you're ORGE Esports, is it just really a case right now of getting farm on Madman and then, picking and choosing your battles? Or would you like to see them play more aggressive, or what's the deal?
I don't know. I really feel like Cthulhu is kind of an awkward hero here. And Complexity is doing a really good job right now of utilizing massive amounts of farm when there's some downtime. I mean, ORGE just won that fight. Yes, they did get a couple good kills afterwards on the Tempest and then on the Demented Shaman, but it just seems like the numbers just go up so quickly for Complexity as far as golden experience goes. They're utilizing every camp in the map to get massive farm on every one of those heroes. So they just do such a good job with that. I mean, when you look at this other side, level 13 Tundra, next closest on Hellborn's side was the Madman, who just got a hat trick, and he's level 11 only. Yeah. And they were both mid. So, but now Shrunken Head is up on Madman. I really do think that they have their core items. And look at Wretched Hag's going to go for Shrunken Head herself. And now Portal Key actually picked up on Cthulhu. So they have some initiation with that. Portal Key, Tempest does have enough for that. She's walking back to base right now to purchase it, I'm sure. There she goes. So they have the initiation. The ults are up. We'll have to see how they're... how they approach
execute. Yeah, this game is going to be Portal Key galore, to say the least. We already have 5 Portal Keys, and I assume we're at least going to get a 6 with Silhouette, even if she eventually chooses to go for one. So yeah, 3 on the Legion side, 2 on the Hellborn side now already in this game. So a lot of those gotcha moments, as I always like to say, going to be coming out, no doubt. And again, this is why I just personally love to cast ORGE Esports specifically. I mean, it just seems no matter what, they will always provide an entertaining match, whether it's coming out from them or getting the other team to do so. And we're definitely having yet again another case of that here. Wretched Hag, in the meantime, she's got her Mighty Blade purchase. So yeah, I guess she's working on that possible Shrunken Head herself, as you stress that being an important item, especially on Madman here. Still no regression necessarily coming out yet from really either side, but specifically ORGE Esports, as Madman continues to farm here at the bottom, and now we're going to move over to the Ancients. As look at this Ward of Sight placed by Franzi, actually, here at the Ancients on the Hellborn team. It's actually right next to the camp, so I believe that will block it, and they'll need to actually counter-ward that as soon as possible. whenever they realize it. But it seems like Farm continues to be the name of the game here, as at least at this point in the game. And Haxrin, speaking of Farm, I mean, he has recovered quite a bit. I mean, he's already now jumped up to, 315 gold per minute here. And he's actually getting really close to finishing that Nullstone in a matter of about 500, 600 gold or so here.
4 out of 5 of those heroes in the Legion squad have above 300 gold per minute. That's really, really good. Franzi being the only one. Franzi actually very, very low level, unfortunately. Glacier still does need those levels. Demented Shaman, I'm actually surprised he's done so well as far as getting the experience. That's a hero when I see in the support role, like I just constantly see him gimped. But granted, DS Cthulhu is hailed as, in a very, very extremely powerful lane. So, yeah, that's good for him.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say, Demented Shaman still does not have the Stormcloud ability, still deciding to pass that up just yet. And I do think, I mean, that could be very powerful for a hero like Madman especially. And, of course, and for that matter, against a hero like Silhouette as she starts becoming a farm. So, yeah, a little bit critical perhaps of that there from Demented Shaman. But at the same time, as you just mentioned, it seems like he is doing a fairly good job here. For his team. But yeah, it continues to be now 22.5 minutes in, just more and more farm all across the table. We see 2,400 gold being pulled up on Bubbles, and of course nearly 3,000 gold saved up on Silhouette, but that's just a matter of finishing that Nullstone here in the near future. And then you got Keeper the Forest actually, just finishing his Soul's Bulwark, or in this case her Soul's Bulwark. Of course, another powerful item pickup, currently set to aggressive, and I'm sure throughout the fights and everything, she'll look to keep it on that route while Chessie playing this Keeper. So neither team, though, looking to get too aggressive just yet. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of pushing early on here from Complexity. They already have 5 out of the 6 outer towers killed. But it's been a while since they've honestly pushed both what was the middle and then the top lane. They've really slowed it down a lot here. So it's allowed Orange even to kind of farm up more themselves, I guess, but
I feel like Complexity is just confident that they can outplay them, honestly. They are confident they can get more farm. Their heroes farm a lot quicker. Madman with the Shrunken Head, one of the drawbacks of going Shrunken Head is you do not farm as quickly. Not nearly as quickly as if you went, say, like a Rune Cleaver or even a Nullstone. And so I think they're just happily going to out-farm the enemy team and then just overrun them with items. And actually, the top farm of the game, we haven't really talked too much about him, but it actually goes to B-Kid on Bubbles. He has 3K pulled up. He's got all of his core items right now. Pretty much everything after this is luxury. I can assume, or I'm going to safely say he's going to go for Hellflower right now with that gold pulled up. Very, very good against the Madman, especially when he has a Shrunken Head.
Yeah. Now, well, going back to that point that you were just making with he's not as good as a farmer as to say he got a Nullstone or a Rune Cleaver, doesn't that even wouldn't that even encourage more of the fact that if you are going to go Shrunken Head, which, as you say, made sense here, to get involved more in fights, to maybe play more aggressive, like Orange hasn't been, unfortunately. So
absolutely, I disagree with what Orange has done. They got their core item. I mean, maybe they were waiting for a Shrunken Head on Hag. Maybe that was the thing. She does have it now.
Yeah.
So, but basically all they've done is waited for Complexity to catch up and get their items. Nullstone now completed on Silhouette. She just purchased it, now took out a stack here in the Ancients, and bam, another 1,100 gold for her.
Jeez, yeah.
So they're basically just waiting around to lose, honestly, at this rate. Now, I think in the late game, they honestly have it beat. But they're not going to outfarm them at this rate at all. And with the jump potential coming out from Legion, it's going to be really hard to initiate a fight straight up 5v5 without one of your heroes just getting picked off instantly by Bubbles, by a Tundra, what have you. So
yeah, like I said, already 3 to 5 portal keys, and I would assume even safely a Silhouette will go that portal key next. That just seems like, especially with Haxton, if not most Silhouette players, seem to do the Nullstone into the portal key. But that gold per minute chart really is something, isn't it? I mean, we got our Complexity team over here. Silhouette's the 4th best farmer on the team. Yeah, she's at 347 gold per minute. I mean, it's basically tied with Keeper the Forest, but it's just ridiculous how overall as a team, Complexity's doing so well when it comes to farm. And then for Orange, you got, of course, Madman. He's definitely up at around 350 right now. And then you got a Hag and Cthulhu, not too shabby themselves, just under 300, and then it drops off from there. But yeah, it's pretty impressive to see just all across the board how Complexity could just spread out so much farm to all of their heroes. But they're going to continue to kind of spread things out. We do got Silhouette and Keeper the Forest pushing this bottom lane in the meantime. And Silhouette does have about 1730 gold right now, so definitely getting closer to that portal key pickup if that's what she chooses. Look at all these revelations and wards here in the middle of the lane. A lot of countering going on and whatnot. And it is finally going to be taken out in favor of Orange Esports. They were grouped up here in the middle lane. It looked like some possibility of doing something. But in the end, it's not going to happen. Silhouette, she will pour it out to her illusion before she gets jumped here at the bottom lane. as of course Orange will realize that, and so not too much initiation is going to follow. So again, this game, it was a very aggressive game early on, as you'd almost expect, but it has really slowed down. We're still tied now at 6 hero kills apiece. And we're now 26.5 minutes in. And like I said, Complexity has 5 tower kills, but most of those came, 10 minutes ago even, it seems like, when the last tower was killed. So this has really just changed into more of a farming-paced game. And I do think, at least going into this next stage, that will benefit Complexity. And like you said, they're just confident that they can outplay them simply. And it's hard to argue against that, honestly.
Yeah, they're massively out-farming them. They really are. And I think a lot of it has to do with not just the towers that they've killed as far as that gold that they earned from those towers, but just they're able to have much better map positioning, being able to port to all the different towers. If you look at Orange, they only have that one outer tower available to them, and even that is at half HP. So just the map control is definitely coming out from Complexity. Also on top, you put it on top of that, the Shiver coming out from Moon, which again, just as I talk about it, he's constantly moving it around. They just are able to farm much safer and in turn much faster. So I mean, I just keep looking at this golden experience lead that they have, and it just is growing rapidly. So at this rate, Orange is going to be in a tough spot because they're going to end up looking at a Silhouette who, by the way, just picked up a portal key. So they have tons of initiation. 4 out of the 5 heroes have portal keys. So initiation is going to be the name of the game. On top of that, Haxton's going to be able to hard carry this late game once he starts getting some damage items. But I really feel like 2, if not 3 heroes are going to die immediately to all this jump potential coming out from Legion.
Yeah, that's where it really is going to become so difficult now for Orange. I guess the only benefit they have from that is if they get Complexity to really commit with all those portal keys all of a sudden. You do have a Tempest who, with the portal key himself, if he can have a legitimate counter to it, then it could actually be pretty devastating in favor of Orange Esports, of course. But, that really is a big if, and of course Complexity would have to definitely have a little bit of misplay there at the same time. So Orange Esports, it just seems like this hole is getting deeper and deeper, and they're really not doing too much to prevent it. I mean, they're just continuing to just kind of play more of this slow-paced game right now, which just does not continue to seem to be in their favor. I know that you talked a little bit about if it happens to go to the late game, and this continues to farm like this, then sure, Orange Esports will have a chance, but the likelihood of that happening at this rate is very unlikely. So you got to wonder a little bit what Orange Esports is ultimately thinking here, but we'll see if it pays off in the end. Of course, they could definitely prove us wrong, and it would be pretty awesome, to say the least, if that just so happens. But right now, Complexity definitely has control of solid control of this game right now, 29 minutes in. Bubbles does a Hellflower finish. You talked about that earlier, as very likely the possibility that's going to be the item pickup for him. So yeah, big news there. 2,000 gold saved up in Keeper the Forest. You have a Silhouette already with another 1,200 gold saved up after that portal key, and a barrier idol even on Tundra. So, yeah, all across the board, just looking so good here for Complexity. But yet again, it looked like we may have had a little bit of a push there, but Orange Esports decides, nah, let's just go ahead and fall back once again and continue to farm some more. Madman does have 3,300 gold saved up just about, so guess he's going to wait for, at the very least, his next big item, whatever that is.
I just don't know why they're waiting. They're getting so out-farmed. I don't even know if they know it or not. They have to suspect when they constantly pan over and look over the items that are getting just purchased left and right. Bubbles has the Hellflower. Barrier picked up on Moon. Nullstone, Portal Key onto Silhouette. Portal Key Bulwark onto, well, Chessie's had that for quite some time, but they're just getting massively out-farmed. I want to say the last time the kills happened, which was down there during that DC, I want to say that the golden experience for Complexity was at like 1,500 to 2,000. And not a single kill has happened then, and bam, they've grown the lead by about 7,000 since then.
You're right, yeah.
And nothing has happened except just passive farming. Yeah, so they're getting massively out-farmed this game right now.
Yeah, Silhouette continues to keep chipping away at this bottom tower. She once again went in. She's poured it out as soon as she felt some pressure, as any Silhouette will do. And this tower is now in deny range, so that's the good news here, I guess, for Orange. But, so they're able to deny the tower. But, again, that's still a tower dead, and what is now all outer towers have been destroyed in favor of Complexity here. So they're down to their base now, and that's when you're kind of on a time limit here. If you're Orange Esports Malaysia, you cannot really risk losing much further at the sake of not really responding to it, as if that's kind of been the case here coming out from them. So, as I said, though, Mamet, he is pulling up a lot of gold here, now 3,700 and counting. So I'm guessing, almost even hoping, that Orange Esports, it's a case of let's get Mamet this next item, and then maybe make a move here. Do you have any idea what the next item may possibly be? I mean,
I really don't. Maybe Usually when we see of a Madman, it's something right after a Shrunken Head, like a Whispering Helm into a Savage Mace, something like that. There's actually a lot of different things you can go on Madman, so it's not like that deal breaker where it's like, we got that Shrunken Head on Tempest, let's go. For Madman, there's tons of different things that can be purchased, but honestly, speaking of Shrunken Head on Tempest, I really feel like that's the thing they're going to have to wait for. And Tempest isn't getting farmed anywhere, really. She's kind of getting a farm where she can, but is farming very, very slowly. Normally, we see Tempest with like one of the top farmers, GPM in the game, but he's sitting at only 192, one of the lowest, third lowest actually. So not having a good game from Mr. Ghost, but and look at again, nothing's happened. Haxton's still 0-3-1, but is still level 17.
Yeah.
Is he now the top? He's the top farmer in the game. So yeah,
that just happened. Yeah, that's actually a great stat to look at. The fact that he's 0-3-1, and all of a sudden he's a top level and the top goal per minute in the game here, and that. It just keeps on going back to reinforce the points that, especially that you're making with ORGE Esports. You really are scratching your head right now. It's just, what is the deal here? Now, Madman did just purchase a Blessed Orb, so...
Blessed Orb, guys, let's go.
He's got his Blessed Orb here, another 2,000 gold saved up, so he has buyback on top of that, so, this is the time, I guess. No, so still obviously a little bit taken back by that. I'm guessing with the Blessed Orb is... I would think Nullstone. I don't think it's going to be Geometer's Bane, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting here to see really finally when something happens. By the way, Wretched actually was pushing this bottom lane a little bit, but Silhouette alone jumped her and got her down to about a third of her life from full before she was able to blink away. So it just goes to show you, even with the items, just the Nullstone Portal Key combination that Silhouette has, how much damage she can put out. And she has another 3,600 gold saved up, by the way. So, and there we go, actually. Shieldbreaker level 2 just purchased. Yeah, she's going to start putting us some good amount of raw damage here. Man, ORGE, they're really just banking on this point of a hell of a Tempest ultimate and just the crazy team follow-up, really, is what it comes down to now.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just not working out whatsoever. They even had the portal key on Cthulhu.
Yeah, and he hasn't used it yet.
Yeah, I don't know what the thinking process is, honestly. If it's let's wait until we get a Tempest with a Shrunken Head, well then don't steal his farm. I feel like that's the one thing that they need to wait for. But at that point, we now also, by the way, have Shrunken Head completed on Keep of the Forest. So when you look at these small, very slow item pickups kind of forming on Hellborn, they're happening so much quicker on Legion's side. Again, look at that, almost 11k gold and experience. Nothing has happened. Not a single kill has happened, and there's been a 9k difference. Just simply getting out-farmed. So.
Yep, stats do not lie. They are fact, and you cannot argue against that, really. Shrunken Head just finished on Cthulhu, so they do have their third Shrunken Head now, this time on Cthulhu, as I just said. So I guess Complexity, they're tired right now. They figure, you know what? If you're not going to make anything happen, despite you having the Hellborn advantage, we're going to go ahead and do a Conqueror ourselves as the Legion team right here. And they're going to go into the Conqueror pit, already dropping about a third of his life. I don't know if ORGE even knows. They don't seem like they're reacting to it if they are aware. It seems like that this could be a free Conqueror kill. Granted, they're going to fall back. Mr. Ghost is sending in some elementals, though, so he will eventually spot what's going on. But is it going to be too late at this point? I think it might be. They are kind of in the area, so Complexity is still deciding whether or not they want to fully go for this. Bobbles actually jumps in. In we go through a lot of portal keys beating. Look at Madman getting completely locked down. Madman will fall. The Tempest ultimate. One Keeper of the Force cancels it immediately. And Tempest is just going to be ripped a new one by Silhouette right there. Cthulhu just standing in the midst of it all, being the tank that he is. But what does that accomplish? Not too much. Cthulhu is going to pour it out, it looks like. And he will be successful with that. But Dementia Shaman got cleaned up. Madman does buy back, but again, the damage was by all means done right there. Madman literally did nothing that fight. He got completely locked down from the beginning, couldn't even use a Shrunken Head, and now we're going to see a Conqueror kill on top of that. Complexity has total control of this game right now.
Yep, absolutely. I saw that coming. The jump potential from Bubbles Bubbles and Tundra and even Keeper right there, it's just too strong to handle. Even if they don't get the jump, now they have all the damage in the world from Silhouette coming out. This game is over. ORGE is getting completely outplayed right now. I really don't see them coming back from this at all. Not that they can't, but just I don't think they have a strategy right now at all to play against this. There's nothing that they can do to out-farm the enemy team. With the Hawk constantly providing vision, they're totally countering every single ward that's being placed. They just have no map control whatsoever, and map control equals farm.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's looking very, very grim here for ORGE Esports.
Yeah, I mean, Madman, he kind of joked a little bit about that goal that he got saved up. So he went to Blessed Orb, and I mean, it did allow him to buy back right there, but we saw, I mean, that didn't even accomplish anything. So he just basically gave away, I'm sure it was at least 1,000 gold, something like 1,200 gold or so right there. And yeah, you just kind of look at that and you're just like, oh, well, that sucks. Silhouette is going to portal in right here by the quick reaction from Mr. Ghost. And he'll be fine in the end. But it just, yeah, complexity is just way too strong right now. And it does kind of seem like maybe that this is more of a case of ORGE Esports just not doing their thing. I mean, complexity, of course, they are doing the right thing. They continue to out-farm ORGE Esports as they really should and can do. And it's proven to work right here. And now here they are. They're going to group up into the middle lane. And for the first time this game, they're going to start touching the base a little bit. We see invulnerability is going to be used right there. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, Madman's going to port back to base. Because, yeah, if you're ORGE Esports, you cannot risk losing a base tower here, especially the base racks. We do see, oh, look at the aggressive play by Silhouette, jumping in on a Wretched Hag, and Wretched Hag will just disintegrate right there in the background. Madman getting locked down by the Avalanche, despite having the Shrunken Head up, and he too will fall. So that's the power of Avalanche going through the Shrunken Head. Silhouette didn't give two shits. The physical damage is too much. Demented Shaman will fall. Madman buys back for the second and the last time. I do not see a victory here in the near future for ORGE Esports, though. Nice jump from CthulhuFun, actually. Might get the kill in the bubbles, and yes, it will. But is that going to really accomplish a whole lot? They do also take out Glaciers, but the melee racks go down, and the rest of the complexity players, it looks like they're going to fall back before too much else happens. But again, just so many resources are being used. So much damage has already been done here by complexity. And look at Silhouette, actually. Jumps back in on the Madman. Bubbles buys back and gets all the way back here and sets up a kill onto him. And complexity is back to full strength. And they're going to clean up both racks now.
That was really funny there at the end. I think Tempest blinked in to try to... Well, first of all, I think he was thinking, I want to blink in and get a good ulti, but the ultimate cooldown was there for like 4 seconds, so he wasn't going to get it anyway. But Bubble's still on top of that. Came in, bought back, by the way, BK, that was the second buyback as well.
Yeah.
Bought the post-haste, came in and silenced him the second. Tempest blinked in anyway. But like I said, he wasn't going to cast it. Still had 3 seconds on his ultimate. He probably just misjudged that. But yeah, this game is 100% over, and Complexity will easily take this. He's got so much farm on all those heroes. Really doing just having map control. CthulhuFun has a little bit of life yet, a little bit of fight left in him. As he's still 4-1-3, but doesn't really matter. That pickoff right there on the Hag was ultimate decider, and there's the vote to concede. I have to say, unfortunately, I really do have to say this is one of the most depressing games I've seen in a long time. Just the fact that, one, it was so passive, and we watched it as spectators, just watch it slip out of Orange's hand, or Orange's hands for no reason. They had the game, they had a very successful team fight. They bought items that, like you mentioned, they're team fight items. They need to use that Shrunken Head actively in a team fight. If you're going to go buy items and then farm more, don't buy Shrunken Head. Buy a Nullstone. Buy a Ruined Axe or whatever. And I'm not just picking on Madman. I'm just picking on the whole squad, even the CthulhuFun.
Oh, as a team, the portal key.
Yeah, exactly. So that was just a very, very disappointing game to watch.
Oh, I agree with you. I was getting the same way there. It's not that we want complexity to lose. It's not that we want to see them lose by any means. It's just when you see a team play so well and have a chance to beat, again, I think it's unarguably the best team out there right now in complexity. That no doubt was one of the better performances we've seen against complexity in recent history. But again, it's just these crucial. It's like, where are you going with this? They didn't even seem too sure. And obviously the end results kind of showed that it really was just it slipped out of their hands. And complexity just played it very well themselves. They just kept their cool. They kept doing what they needed to do. And that was just simply outlast ORGE Esports to that mid-game stage. And they eventually did that. And, of course, became victorious with that said. I mean, you look at Haxorn alone. The start that he had was pretty bad. He got locked down. He finished the game level 20 at the top level, 453 gold per minute, the most gold per minute. He just had some crazy recovery there. So, anyways, though, that is just game one. Of course, it is a best of 3, so we'll see how ORGE Esports can respond, guys. Will they come back strong here in game number 2? Or will Complexity continue to look strong themselves? Stay tuned. We got game 2 just around the corner.